The energy was so authentic. They just did that for the rest of Africa. We should give you the giant of Africa, and they have represented Africa so well. A very big pot of jollof rice. They just needed this one thing so that they can brag about that. Who won this fight of jollof rice? Oh, Baruma Kofi Akufi. He was treated like a prince. He loves Ghana. And we produce shea butter. Everybody's gonna want to come to Ghana for that massage. Wode understood the assignment. Give it up for the black stars of Africa. We should all unite. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is K. Now I've noticed that 90% of you have been watching this channel without subscribing. Can I ask you for just a little favor to click on that subscribe button? It's absolutely free of charge. Thank you so much. Can we give it up for Ghana, guys? Give it up for Ghana, Africa, the rest of Africa. Stand up and give it up for the black stars of Africa. Ghana, you did well. You did well. Remember, this is not a competition. But as Africans, we already know that we are hospitable. You know, we are known for hospitality, accommodation, treating our visitors so well with dignity. You know, we are known for our friendliness. That is what we are. And I feel like Ghana showed that to Speed. He was treated like a prince in Ghana. And I'm going to tell you why I think so. So Ishowspeed is in Ghana. In fact, his live stream just ended. And I should say, Ghana has raised the standards of this tour, especially in West Africa. Do you know why I say so? Because they were very well organized. The activities were well coordinated. They knew how to start this visit or this tour and how to end it. And even Speed himself said he loves Ghana. They are the real black stars of Africa, and I feel like they have represented Africa so well in terms of culture and what we are known for as Africans. They are not afraid, you know, to show that Africanness to the world through this Ishowspeed tour, and I give it up to them. I give it to them. Ghana, you did so well. And one of the things that was really outstanding for me is the fact that Wode, the pioneer of changing the African narrative, was also there to receive Ishowspeed, to guide Ishowspeed. And you know what I admired the most about him? Not even once did he shout to the camera to say, "Speed, I am Wode, a content creator." No, he didn't make it about himself. He knew this is Speed's time. He knew that Speed should shine and not him. He's not shouting in front of the camera telling everybody that he is Wode and he is a content creator. Well, you might say, oh, it's because he's already well known. Why does he need to shout to the world? It doesn't matter. Some content creators that we have seen have made it about themselves. They have made it about marketing themselves and who they are. But Wode was there to guide Speed, was there to organize Speed's tour in Ghana, you know, take him to the relevant places and do the relevant activities. And I admire him for that. No wonder we call him the pioneer of changing the African narrative. Do you see what I'm talking about? Because this is Speed's tour. Speed should shine. It is not a tour for the African content creators to market themselves. Okay, you can be in the video and stuff, but this is for Speed. It's entirely for Speed and of course for Africa as a whole, and not for the content creator. And I think Wode understood the assignment. Ghana understood the assignment. They organized this activity so well. They were very thoughtful and they did it in a very smart, intelligent way. I'll tell you why. So Speed started off his tour at a spa. the natural spa that we've been seeing trending on social media from Ghana. That's where he went and he got a massage. You know why that was so thoughtful? Because they know Speed has been all around Africa. He must be very tired. So let's take him to our natural spa and let him get a massage. And you know what that is doing for Ghana? Everybody's going to want to come to Ghana for that massage. Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see the smartness in all these things? So even myself right now, if I go to Ghana, I'm going to go to that spa. I've seen it, trending. But if I go to Ghana, I'm going to go to that spa. You see what I'm talking about? So they had to, get him a massage so that he gains the strength. He has been traveling around. That is how you welcome your visitors. That is hospitality. As Africans, we are known for being hospitable, for being accommodating, for being friendly. And because we have rich cultures, we have to practice that. And Ghana was not afraid to do that. Ghana was not trying to be Europe. Ghana showed Speed the real Africa and what Africa is made of, without being afraid of criticism. Because I saw some people really criticizing them, especially on some rituals that they did. We are not too different from each other as Africans. Our culture is mostly the same, The cultural practices are mostly the same. As an African, we all know that when somebody comes to your place, the person has to meet the elders first. Before you can take him to the streets, to the markets, to go play with the other kids, even if it's a child, he has to meet the elders first. He has to be welcomed in the land. There has to be some rituals to be performed to tell him that you are welcome and you are now safe, to travel across our country or to go wherever you want to go in this country. And that is what Ghana did. So the first thing they did is to take Speed to the king, to meet the king, and to greet the adults. So they took him to the king, they dressed him up in the Ghanaian attires, and they gave him a name. They called it a naming ceremony. He was given some slippers that he had to wear, and then to tie a wrapper, and then take him to the king so that they can give him a Ghanaian name. What an introduction, Ghana. You guys just did it the best way, the African way. You are indeed the Black Stars of Africa, but I feel like we should give you the Giant of Africa name. You deserve it. Like, you are the ones that deserve the Giant of Africa name. The Giant of Africa should go to Ghana, honestly. Maybe we should call them the Black Stars Giants of Africa, all together, combine it. Because that was excellent. You know why it is so thoughtful that they had to take him to see the king first? Because you know that there were going to be so many activities happening. Another reason why this was so smart is because if Speed started off with going around the streets and doing all the other energy demanding activities, if he had gone to the streets, he would have been so tired to meet the elders, and he wouldn't have concentrated. He would have been so bored that even when they were trying to explain to him certain things, or when he had to sit down and wait for the king, he would have been too tired to do that. Because that is what I've observed in especially the Nigerian stream that I watched, that he was so tired he couldn't even listen, he couldn't even concentrate, when he was meeting the elders, and when he was being shown around the gallery and stuff, he was very tired. But Ghana was so smart to start off by meeting the king, doing all the cultural and traditional rituals, to welcome him and to give him a name, a Ghanaian name. After they've given him a name, now they say, you are welcome to Ghana. That is how you do it. They just did that for the rest of Africa. In fact, we shouldn't say welcome to Ghana. We should say welcome to Africa. That is how you do it. Now, the name that they gave him, what was the name? So they gave him Baruma Coffee Akufi. Baruma Coffee Akufi. Is it Baruma Akufi Coffee or Baruma Coffee Akufi? Which one? In which direction? I don't know. In which order? Whether it's Baruma Akufi Coffee or Baruma Coffee Akufi. So that was the name that they gave him. So they did some rituals, you know, where they were chanting certain things. A lot of people in the comment sections were saying, oh no, that is voodoo and stuff. Come on, guys. That is where we come from as Africans, and we need to respect our traditions. Before Christianity or before religion, we had our own African religion, and we have to honor that. It has nothing to do with voodoo. It has nothing to do with witchcraft, like a lot of people would put it. But that is what our parents and our ancestors really practiced. And we still have to honor it, and we have to respect it instead of tagging it witchcraft and all that. Before colonialism and before the West came to Africa, we had our own religions, and that has to be honored. So just because you were introduced to a new religion by other people, by the West, it doesn't mean that you should hate yours and call it witchcraft. Because if you're able to pray to God, or to Jesus, like the Bible teaches you to pray to Jesus, you know, for protection, why can't you do rituals in your own African tradition to protect somebody? What I understood from the rituals, the Ghanaians can correct me if I'm mistaken, whether it was just solely a naming ceremony, but I felt like they were also just welcoming their guests, you know, into the country, and of course doing something to protect him while he is in the country. So that is what I saw. The same way we pray for protection and stuff, I feel like that you know, that tradition or that ritual that they did is also, you know, carrying the same message, or it's also being done for the same purpose: protection, welcoming, and then of course naming ceremony, just to say that you are now part of us, you are now Ghanaian, you are now safe to go around Ghana. And then of course meeting the elders. That is what you do when you go into a house or when you go into a home. You first have to meet the elders before you go around. So that to me was excellent. I should say as well, on his way to the king's palace, I think everything was well organized. Maybe the place where he passed by did not really have a lot of people, but after he came out of the palace, I respect Ghanaians for actually respecting boundaries. They did call out for him, but not a lot of them actually came closer, wanting to hug him, wanting to do everything, you know, very close. They did come close, but not very close, which was great as well. Now I also want to talk about the part of the jollof rice. Guys, if you've watched my other video, I would like to apologize for the sound quality. The sound quality was very bad, and I only noticed when you know, when I had already uploaded the video, and it took me so much time to actually edit that video. So I thought, let me just drop it there. I really apologize for that sound quality. But if you have watched that video, I was talking about the Nigerian jollof rice that he tasted, and then he said that it was better than Senegal rice. And his bodyguard, who's Ghanaian, actually told him, you can't conclude yet until you taste the Ghanaian jollof. Now, the part for tasting the Ghanaian jollof came, and the Ghanaians actually cooked a very big pot of jollof rice. You guys, like, did you really have to do that? Like, why would you cook? But anyways, you wanted him to taste it. So they cooked a very big pot of jollof rice. So he tasted it. At first he said, I think he said it was better. Like, when they were asking him, which is better, which is better, which is better. But how can you cook a big pot? I feel like when food is cooked in a big pot, it doesn't taste the same as being cooked in a smaller pot. You know, when you put in all the ingredients and stuff, you may not put in enough ingredients. So Ghanaians, maybe if there's next time, which I don't think there's going to be next time, if somebody comes and visit, maybe just cook in a small pot. I know what you guys did there with the big pot of jollof. You probably felt like, yeah, let's go bigger than Nigeria. But no, I felt like if that jollof rice was probably cooked in a smaller pot, it would probably tasted different. But he tasted it anyways, and he still said, you know, the Nigerian jollof rice is much better. I could see that he didn't want to disappoint the Ghanaians. He was going on saying, oh, maybe it's because he's hungry, maybe it's because he's hungry, but you know, but he still thinks Nigerian jollof rice is better. I was saying that speed is here. to tell us who won this fight of jollof rice. And he said Nigerian jollof rice is better. Of course, according to history and according to all the information that is out there, jollof rice began in Senegal. But even if it began in a certain place, there are people that can do it better. You know, just like a teacher. As a teacher, your learners can do better than you. So I feel like maybe Nigeria had just mastered, you know, the skills of making that jollof rice better. Maybe it's because of the pepper that they put in, or the pepe that they put in. Maybe that's what makes it very tasty. But I'd like to taste all the three: the Senegalese, the Nigerian, and the Ghanaian jollof rice, so I can also judge it for myself, you know. But Speed told us who won this fight of jollof rice, and it's Nigeria. Of course, Nigeria has some of the best food, and Nigeria couldn't wait to rub that into the Ghanaians' faces. I mean, even if I was Nigerian, I'd also wait for a smaller moment to shine, knowing that I had my moment and I didn't shine. So if I see this moment where I have to shine, I'm definitely gonna shine, baby. So that's what Nigerians did. They went online and started posting and saying, oh, we won the jollof rice competition. At least something for them to brag about, because I mean, come on, with a stream that went on like that, and most of them are really so disappointed. They just needed this one thing so that they can brag about that. Now, I also saw certain things online where some women along the road were actually shouting out to Speed, I think talking about money. The only thing I heard is money. I think they were speaking in one of the dialects, the local dialects, but according to the translations from the Ghanaians, they said they were saying that come and buy. They were not begging for money. But even if they were, I felt like it was not, you know, as bad as the Nigerian begging. And of course, like I said, Nigerians are going to find something into this Ghanaian stream just to, you know, brag about it and say, oh, we are equal and stuff. But let us be honest, Ghana set the standard so high. Ghana actually represented Africa, or West Africa at large, very well, I should. Speed was shaking their hands and introducing himself. Guys, did you see that? That is respect. And respect should be earned. So what happened today in Ghana is that the Ghanaians earned the respect of Speed with the way they organized this tour, this Ghanaian tour. Speed went ahead to greet the elders, went ahead to shake the elders. And I saw the same Speed I saw in Nigeria, not listening to a lot of people, was actually calm and respectful to the elders in Ghana. You know why that happened? Because the massage, of course, it has calmed him down. And they didn't just take him to the street immediately. They first had to take him to the elders because he was well rested. So he goes, shake the hands of the elders and greet them respectfully. That is what Africa is made of. And that was so great, and it was so delightful to actually watch, and how he respected the king, how he danced for the king. And then of course he was given gifts as well. Like I saw would I call it a portrait, like a picture of him that was drawn by a certain artist. And then the king also gave him something. Put it in the comment section down below with his name. I don't know what they had written there. I couldn't hear what the king was actually saying to him. You know, that was just beautiful to watch, guys. I love everything African. As an African, when I look at everything African, my heart just goes, it just jumps, you know, with joy. And that is what Ghanaians actually showed us. And then of course they took him to the street. Of course the streets were mad, you know. Ishowspeed here and there, and of course the youth, they were so happy. But you know what stood out for me again? It's the last part. After all is said and done, they took Speed to the Shea Butter Palace. I think that is what they called it, Shea Butter Palace. That is actually Ghana selling to the world that we make and we produce shea butter. And the lady explained that it is not just used for the skin in Africa, it's also medicinal. And he even tasted it. They have the yellow one and they have the white one as well. Guys, that's what I'm talking about. Show him what we are made of. Show the whole world what we are made of. And that, to me, what Ghana did is really, really commendable. So they took him to the shea butter palace where they had to rub the shea butter and gave him another massage because they understood that he was so tired. They gave him another massage. And you know what? Speed just said, I love Ghana. I'm like, Speed, you're not the only one. You are not the only one. I love Ghana as well. Like, they did so well. That was so outstanding. And oh my gosh, they just understood the assignment. And the ladies, very beautiful, dark-skinned, in their natural hair, guys. They are not naked. They are not wearing bikinis. They are wearing traditional attires. Of course, their tummies are out. Their boobs are covered. And they have those traditional skirts on. So they are properly dressed with natural hair. That is Africa. Do you see what I'm talking about? That is definitely Africa. And I think the Ghana stream, I enjoyed the Ghana stream. I don't know about you. You can put it in the comment section down below. What do you think? I think it was the best stream I've watched so far. It was very well organized. The activities were very thoughtful. They did a lot in just a small space of time. Like, they did so much. They didn't give history, like lessons and all that. But you could see from whatever they did, you could pick up a lot of things. You can tell what Ghana is made of from those few detailed things that they did. Few activities, yet detailed, but not long lessons. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, that is what I'm talking about. I do see also there is a lady that that spoke to Speed, and for the first time I saw Speed really being interested in these kind of talks, you know, because when he was in Nigeria, I saw how he really ignored most of these talks. But I feel like it's also the energy that he was getting from the Ghanaians, which was so authentic. The energy was so authentic. It was so real, and it was just so welcoming. And I feel like when as human beings, when you're being welcomed, when the energy is so authentic, you become yourself as well. You know, you don't become so hostile. You know, you concentrate and you give the respect that you're getting. So when you get the respect, you give the respect as well. And I think that is what was happening with Ghana. So there was a lady that asked him, that came to meet him and asked him, do you think Africa should unite? And Speed gave the best answer ever. He said, we should all unite. And that was, for me, perfect. I was like, let's just end this stream. Speed, the Ghanaians, everybody did very well. Everybody did very well. Everything was so coordinated, and I love that part. Of course, there was some chaos here and there. It's Africa. Chaos are going to be there, but there was more good than the chaos. So the goodness actually outweigh the chaotic moments. Like I saw at the statue, there was something chaotic there where I think one of the organizers were basically disagreeing. They were saying, oh, there should be a lady that should come here and explain the history of the statue and all that. And he still listened, which was really, to me, great. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you again in my next video. Put your comments down in the comment section and I'll read and let's talk. What did you think about Ghana?